Well, Coach Soto, thank you so much for joining us today on your spring break, no less, and for taking some time out to talk some linebacker play with us.
No problem, man. I'm really, really honored to be on this show, and hopefully we get some things done and some people will learn, because that's the way we learn in the profession. Giving out the best stuff, and hopefully somebody gets some nuggets along the way.
Absolutely, Coach. Well, you, as we can see, the guys watching and can see your shirt there. You're the you're just wrapped up your first year at San Antonio Johnson, a great school there in the San Antonio area. You're from San Antonio, so take a few moments to just kind of fill us in on your coaching history and how you wound up where you are today.
Yeah, I kind of been all over the place. I was trying to climb the ladder as fast as I could, and it only took 17 years to become a head coach. But in those 17 years, I learned a lot. I went through a lot of experiences that really got me ready for that job. And luckily, I was under some great head coaches. I think that's been the determining factor in the way my career is spun from year to year. Is I just tried to surround myself with the best that I could. I started out in 1995. I played ball in Missouri Valley College, a small little NAIA school, and I'll tell everybody out there, man, find the small schools for your kids to play at, because there's a level of football for everybody. Yep. And so went to a little NAIA Division II school, had a huge success there, turned the program around, won the conference by 94, and then got into the coaching in 1995 at Poteet, Texas, which is south of San Antonio, a little 3A school. And, really the resume got me the job. It wasn't that I was some kind of football all-star or anything like that. I was sitting in the interview. I actually came back from Crystal City, which I interviewed for a small it was a junior high coordinator role. And I was on my way back. I just pulled into the office and walked in there cold with my resume in hand. And Butch Tudyk, he's an old coach from St. Mary's. He was the athletic director at that point in time. And I sat down. I said, "Hey, Coach, I'm just looking to see if you had any openings." And he goes, "Well, you got your resume?" And I put it on his desk. And he looks at it. He takes a spit into his spittoon. He said, D.W. Rutledge and Frank Arnold? I was like, "Yes, sir. I played under Rutledge, and Frank Arnold was our AD. I got a spot for you." And pretty much it was who you knew, not what you knew, because I was fresh out of college. Played coached 2 years there, had a tremendous career there. First year I was assistant coach. Second year I was defense coordinator. And then went to skiing for 2 years with Mark Smith, one of Texas high school coaches, presidents, former presidents. And then from there I went to Cal Allen for a year, where I was under Phil Danaher, who's the most winning active head coach in high school history. From there I came to San Antonio Holmes and worked under Coach Sanchez, who is the most wins by an active Hispanic coach. Worked with him for 2 years at Holmes, and then 3 years at Laredo United. Turned that program from 254th up to a top 50 team by the time I left in 3 years. Then I was able to go back to my alma mater, Judson, and coach there. In the first year we were there, I think 2005 was the first year. 7 we went to the finals, and 10 we went to the finals. Played Euless Trinity in both those games. After that, I've got my first head coaching job, and happened to be athletic director at San Marcos, in which they were not faring too well, and we were able to turn them around and get them into a top 100 team. I think the highest we ever climbed in the Harris ratings to 80, 88, somewhere around there. Was able to build a humongous facility there with a indoor stadium, turf, both baseball and softball, and just really turn that culture around in San Marcos. And luckily, there was only a couple of jobs I'd apply for, because, San Marcos was my retirement job. I'd built the facility, with those coaches around there. We had a good core of coaches that were doing good things for the kids, and kids were doing good things for us. And job popped open, and interviewed for it, did really well in it. Knew some people from the AD days, knew some of the ADs that were interviewing me, and was able to get a chance to come here. The only hang up was it was right in the middle of when COVID was starting.
Yeah.
So it kind of took a little while,
Yeah.
I think I interviewed in March, and I didn't come on until April 14th. And I interviewed like late February, early March, and it just took a while. So, yeah. But that's how I got here. Mostly it was, just being under those great head coaches that knew, hey, they knew what my goals were. and they helped me towards those goals.
Right.
They gave me all the responsibility I would need to move to the next job and the
Right.
next job and the next job. But, when you're dealing with those, Hall of Fame coaches, which are all, D.W. Rutledge is already in the Hall of Fame. I think Phil Danaher is. Mark Smith will be, and so will David Sanchez. You're dealing with some good ones. Jim Rackley over here at Judson, he's in the Hall of Fame too. I think Coach Rutledge, Coach Danaher, Coach Rackley, Coach Smith, they were all presidents of the Texas High School Coaches Association at one point in time. So just try to keep the best company I could.
Absolutely. Well, that is some great company. And I want to ask you a couple of questions about those guys.
Sure.
First of all, I know Coach Smith, he was the head coach in Kerrville actually right before
Right.
I got there. So I've heard, I feel like I worked for him just from all the stories and seeing him at clinics and talking with him. He would come back to Kerrville from time to time while I was there. But all of those guys, just outstanding coaches that you mentioned, Phil Danaher, D.W. Rutledge, what would you say is the common thread that runs through all of those guys that helps them be so successful?
Common thread, they excel at something. All of them excel at something. I think that's where you find your good players. Same thing with your good coaches. There's something they're really good at. Playing under Coach Rutledge and then working for him at the Texas High School Coaches Association, his passion for high school sports and in particular football is just second to none. I mean, he wants the best for young men and young women in athletics in the state of Texas. And it showed. I mean, that's all he was doing was trying to, the man never cursed at us. He never cursed at us one time. He was just always positive and you can do more, you can do more. And he was always trying to build an environment where we could succeed at. Mark Smith, he taught me how to keep things simple so kids could play fast. His deal was taking a complex 3-4 defense or a 4-3 defense or whatever, meshing them all together and making it real simple for the kids. So that way we could play fast on the field. Phil Danaher was just hyper competitive. I mean, you couldn't play jacks with that guy without him trying to win. I mean, he would bet where the fly was going to land next in the office. We'd go play golf, and his foot wedge was his best club. And as a head coach, you didn't tell him anything. That was okay. I mean, he was just hyper competitive, and he still is. Even after all these years and all these wins, he's still hyper competitive.
Yeah.
Jim Rackley he loved kids, man. He loved working for kids. That was his deal. David Sanchez, same thing. He just, he had a passion to work with kids, and he had a passion for his particular type of kid in Laredo or Holmes to be successful. And, they all had something elite about them that you could follow, watch, learn from, and then, try to interpret in your career somehow.
So if you're talking to a young coach who's just starting into coaching or maybe looking for his first job, what's more important to get on to go find a winning program or a team that's been successful, or a coach or a coaching staff that has those things that those guys had who molded you? Like, what's more important, the staff or the school?
The number one thing I think is more important over all that is lose your ego. Lose your ego. And humble yourself, and then go find somewhere that you can learn something that you're going to need, that tool you're going to need in your toolbox.
Yeah.
If you're good at, let's say you're good at relating to kids. Okay, great. That's a great trait to have. Your next job better be one that has something that was one of your weaknesses. Maybe you need more X's and O's.
Yeah.
So you need to get with a coach that's really good at X and O's. Or maybe you're good at X and O's because you played in college and you really have a good handle on that stuff, but you don't know how to treat kids because you're treating them like you were in college, and it's different in high school. So maybe you need to get around a coach that's nurturing and learn that trait. I would tell, in fact, I'm talking at Texas High School Coach Association, the Rock Mentor Program, in about 2 weeks, and my subject is personal growth and development. And that's number one, lose your ego. Number two, find the job that you can grow at, not the job that you can win at.
Yeah.
Find the one you can grow at, because it's going to help develop you into a better coach, and you're going to be able to go through different experiences, and we're all product of our experiences. As I got that job as an athletic director, I had no clue about that budget thing, you know what I mean? But I went through a build at Judson, and they let me get in on the budget stuff and learn how to do bids and quotes and things like that, and how to push the paper through the CFO's office and things like that. So I had gained so many experiences. Mind you, they might not have been huge and elaborate, but they were enough to keep me at that table and keep them interested enough to give me the job and then learn on my own.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's great advice, and I think that's I think that's great for young guys to hear about losing their ego, and I think we've all been there. You get caught up in the size of the school or
Right.
what your title's going to be, and I think that's great advice. Just going somewhere where you can grow and really sharpen yourself up, and not worry so much about whether it's a 2A job or a 5A job or it's a middle school job that feeds into a 6A school, whatever. I think that's great advice.
So some of those connections you make right there may propel you in the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some of our middle school coaches that I worked with at Judson and at San Marcos, I will look at for a job just because of the job they did down there. They cared about that job. They cared about what we call the smaller job, even though you're teaching the kids how to be athletes down there. Yet that one's not as important as a varsity position for some odd reason, but it has its importance. So yeah, just do the best job you can where you're at, and let God lay the path down for you and learn at each stop and move forward.
Absolutely. I think that's great advice. Well, let's jump into talking about some linebacker play. I know that's what these guys came here to hear. And we don't actually, we're obviously podcast centered around defensive line play. Haven't talked to a whole lot of linebacker coaches, a lot of outside linebacker coaches, but I think that those positions are so intertwined together, especially when we're talking the run game and even to some extent the defending the pass as well. So I'll let you pull up your presentation in there, and we'll get rocking and rolling through that.
Well, good. I'm glad we got some defensive line guys on here because to me the offensive defensive line is where it's at. I remember playing ball at Judson and I would take my defensive lineman, my 3 technique. We played an old weak Eagle, so we had a 3 and a 5 on my side. And every time after every game, we were winning pretty good back then. I'd take him to Taco Bell and get him 12 tacos because he kept me clean. So these D-line guys on here, I appreciate what you do. All right, let me see if I can pull this thing up real quick. I think it's right here. Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, so here. I really, really, really enjoy linebacker play just because it's in the middle of everything, and you got to be good at a little bit of everything to be a good linebacker, and that's my whole thing. You guys, if you can see this, make sure this is the right one. Got 2 or 3 of them. Okay, good. If you got your phone and you want to take a picture of that real quick, you'll be able to pull up the whole PowerPoint of this thing, not the video part of it, but the PowerPoint of it. And then if you need, the last slide has my information on there, and you can get it to me, and I can get you the video part of it if needed. Okay, so you guys have on that, and I'll put it back up at the end.
And we'll have your contact information also.
Perfect.
Coach, going along.
Sounds great. All right. So, to me, what makes a good linebacker is important. And honestly, you want a linebacker that you don't want to have to coach too much. You got your program linebackers down here. They're your developmental guys. You put them in to close out games. They probably need a year or 2 to develop. These guys just don't see it right off the bat. But as you pull them up through your program, your freshman level, your JV level, they get better and better and better, and they're going to be able to play some games for you, close out some games. They're going to be able to, you can always put them on the scout team, do an excellent job for you. You got to have these guys. They're the workhorses. Then you got your good ones. These guys, they're going to be where they need to be. They're going to be on time during the plays. They're going to spill when they need to spill. They're going to hard jar when they need to hard jar. They're going to do everything right. But they're not always going to make that spectacular play where they kind of screw it up and they have to make it up. These are good Mike linebackers, get you lined up. Like I said, they're going to spill everything that you need spilled or hard jarred. They're going to be in their passing zone when they need to be in their passing zone. They're just not going to make that fantastic, wild play. And then you got your great ones. And these just got instinct. And these guys, you need to find at least one of those every year. You don't have to overteach them. All you got to do is teach them how to line up, and they basically will find the ball and they'll hit the ball. I call them see ball, hit ball guys. And those guys, they might go the wrong way at the beginning of the play, but for some odd reason, they're on the play. I like to put those guys at the wheel linebacker and cover them up with a 3 technique or a 4-eye or something like that. But that's kind of how I look at the attributes of a linebacker. You know, everybody's like, well, you know, what are you looking for? Well, I'll tell you what I'm looking for. I'm looking for one to get me lined up and one to do some extraordinary things. That's what I'm looking for. I can teach them how to play the game of linebacker. The ones that have it naturally instinctive, those are the ones that you get them lined up and let them go. And you got to have at least one of those out of the 2 inside linebackers. That's what we're going to be talking about is inside linebacker play. All right. What I like to talk and teach a lot about with these linebackers is eye progressions and mind progressions, seeing where their eyes go, where their eyes travel during the play, okay? And then as their eyes are traveling during the play, where is their mind taking them? You know, what are they thinking? What are they getting ready for? What are they anticipating? It really seems like, man, that's the same thing, coach, but really it isn't, because if their eyes are not tracking the right areas or the right keys, they're never going to be right. And if their mind's it's not in order what they need to do next, then they're going to get stuck there too. So we talk a lot about mind progressions and eye progressions at the beginning with those, you know, those program linebackers and those good ones. The ones that are just instinctive, man, I just line those suckers up over again. I just talk at the end of the season and give them the MVP award. But eye progressions, you know, what steps do my eyes travel during play? Give you an example like a counter. I'm gonna read the triangle. I'm gonna read from the guard, the near guard, to the near back, to the quarterback mesh. That's my triangle. When we get older, junior, senior, I try to get them to look from the guard, the near guard, to the mesh, whatever it may be, whether it's a zone read mesh or a pistol mesh or a play action mesh, to the other guard, the other side guard. And that's the triangle I try to read with my older guys. Younger guys, they're just going to read the guard to the mesh and go from there. But if I'm looking at a counter and my eyes need to progress through this, they need to go as the offensive guard on my side blocks down, my eyes go through the trap line, which is that area right behind the center where I can see another puller coming, okay? And I'm looking for a puller coming back. When that puller starts to come back, my eyes go from that trap line to that puller coming back at me. Then my eyes got to travel down to the tackle or the guard to see where he's blocking and see where I can fit. That's tracking with the eyes. My mind has to go through some steps, though. Like I said, if we're playing a zone here, okay? If our offensive guard, that's my key, and he zones and he zones to me, I'm going to start my rock, which is my footwork towards the zone, and then I'm going to start my roll, and I need to know that. What do? Okay, I rock and I roll, okay? So I'm going to start towards the zone, and then I'm going to rock against the zone, and I'm thinking vertical to dive. Where do I need to fit? I need to find the dive, and I need to get vertical to it. If I'm keying the OG and he zones away, now I think rock and roll again, right? And now I'm going vertical to quarterback. So it's kind of your responsibilities versus where your eyes travel. And you young coaches out there, if you would sit down and just go through every play, whatever position, it doesn't matter, and go through these 2 things, where your eyes are supposed to look, number 1, and then what you're supposed to do with it once you see what you see. Those 2 things, it's going to teach you defense, but then you can really break down and find out where your kid's going wrong. Is he playing little league ball and keeping his eyes in the backfield all the time? Or, is his eyes tracking, but his body, his mind's not thinking fast enough on what to do next? And then you can prescribe whatever type drills you need to help him on whichever side. Okay, and we'll talk about some of those drills here in a minute.
Really quick, Coach, while we're on that, talking about those 2 different progressions. So I'm just assuming, and I'm going to ask probably some really dumb questions tonight because I've never coached inside linebackers before, but is it the eye progression? Like that's what comes first, right? Like it's the eye,
without doubt,
then progresses to the mind progression. So
right.
My eyes are going to tell me what to do, and my footwork is going to be predicated upon
right.
what my key is doing.
My fit goes off of what I just saw, but you got to be able to see it first, in my opinion. And like I said, a lot of kids you throw in there, especially young ones, they're going to watch the ball all over the place, and they never saw what that guard done. They never saw what the trap line looked like. They never saw the zone. They never saw, and that comes from the mirrors where you ask them, "What'd you look at?" Well, I don't know. I didn't see the ball went that way. Or when they started putting all the jet motions in, and they were watching jet motion when all the play was going on underneath them.
Yeah.
You know, so that's kind of where we got to that. And then, of course, it's real easy to check. You just go on the offensive side, you kneel down, and you watch his eyes, and you can tell whether he's the foul ups at the eyes or the foul ups at the thought process and the responsibility that you're supposed to take care of. So
I think, and I think one of the things is that the D-line, coaching D-line and coaching linebackers has in common is the issue of being able to teach those things, like what my key is doing efficiently. You know, a lot of times we're standing back behind our guys and we're finger painting, right? Like to the scout offensive line and telling them where to go. And so I guess my question would be, how do you get all those things taught in an efficient way? You know, again, when you're a 6A school where you got a bunch of bodies in your group, how do you get that stuff taught, those progressions taught?
When we get into the drills, I'll show you our triangle drill, which is where I can find where I can track both eyes and teach responsibilities.
Okay.
And then a lot of it is we like doing a scheme drill. We call it fit drill, where we just take the D-line and the linebackers, and that week's fits, we're just walking through them basically. And then as the week progresses, we progress to going 75%. It's really just a good fit drill for the kids, and that takes them through a slower paced mind progression. Okay, the triangle drill is for the eye progression. The fit drill is more for the mind progression. So I've got a couple of those drills on here. I don't have the fit progression, but it's basically inside slowed down.
Okay.
But, we're gonna talk about our daily must. We're gonna talk about zone, counter fits, power read fits, dart fits. I don't have a lot of those. Some pass drop stuff. Favorite blitzes, basically zone read blitzes, and then fire zone blitzes, and then just this little stunt I came out with and worked pretty good that I liked, so I wanted to show you guys. And at the end, we'll bring it home with some culture building, some network interviewing, and some books to read, and I'll explain that when we get down to the end, okay? So anytime you got a question, just stop and ask me, because I work better that way, okay?
Will do, Coach.
All right. Daily must, basically we've got to work our footwork until it's habit. Once it's habit, then we can stop working footwork. Tracking, just a great drill on learning how to speed up and slow down, and speed up, slow down as you're trying to track an outside zone or an inside zone. Looking at inside zone, outside zone footwork, hat and hands, rip and run. We'll talk about those quickly. And I'm not going to show you anything that's like outstanding ass drills. This is bread and butter stuff, man. This is stuff you probably learned in junior high, yet I still do it, and I think it still works. Stationary cut drill, working some sled movement, and then goal line tackling, which is pretty much the only tackling drill I do. And then the prescribed fixes would be things that we do when I see some issues. If I see some issues in the daily must, then maybe we'll come over here and do a couple of these little prescribed fixes under the cage when they're too high. A mirror drill to kind of keep them understanding how to stay in front. Activate your feet is just hitting and running your feet on contact. A leverage drill, a bag cut drill, just some different block shedding drills, and then a different tackling drill. For the most part, these musts are going to get done, and they're going to get done inside of about 7-8 minutes at the beginning of practice. I think in practice, I learned this from Jim Rackley. You want to, I'll let this roll and we'll talk about it as it's rolling. These are just our key steps. But I learned by Jim Rackley, the first 20 minutes of practice need to be hellacious. They need to be full speed, and you need to be getting them breathing as hard as you can. Then you slow down and teach the day's concepts and go from there. These are just our key steps. And all we're doing is trying to slow them down at pre-snap. Some people will just pop their feet like a safety. I like to move our feet right here, keeps them hot, keeps them moving, and it goes with our rock and roll step that we'll teach when we get to the plays. Again, on these read steps right here, this is a pass drop right here. Also slows you down on draw, so you don't get caught by the draw as much. We're just gonna go back and forth. You see here, This linebacker here, he bench pressed 185 pounds. He's big time. And this one right here bench pressed about 190. This one right here is going to be a dude one day. He's just like a little pup right now. But these are my underclassmen linemen. They do a great job. But these are this probably is going to be the cat that goes, and these guys are probably program guys, good ones. This guy's going to get us lined up, never screw us up, getting us lined up. This guy's going to be able to go. This is tracking drill. Basically, when he pops his feet, he's going to pop his feet, and we're just going to stay right behind him. Again, this is not rocket science here. These are just drills that I've found in the last 7-8 years that really, really work. Staying away from our crossover, trying to attack and get downhill as much as we can, as fast as we can. We're trying to eat up that cushion. This is my pass drop drills. We're just going to work to that inside hip. That was a hitch. Boom. Then I turn a deeper one here. We're going to go lateral, and then we're going to go for depth. So this is a 10-yard hook. The first one was a 5-yard hitch. Then it's a 10-yard hook. I like to, when we get pads on, I like to get my hands on him and give him a good shove with my hands and keep him on my outside hip and stay on his inside. The next one is a pivot. You're going to see this drill later on in some cut-ups where our linebacker pivots underneath and picks off the ball early in the season. That little pivot right there. You don't have to cover that guy man-to-man, but I need you to get underneath them and make that quarterback throw above. Again, 7 minutes. Literally, they get 1 rep of this, 1 rep of the he'll get a rep of the hitch, a rep of the 10-yard hook, and a rep of the pivot, and we're done. We're going on to the next. Now, we'll do that Monday. We'll do that Tuesday. Wednesday, we'll just do ball drills, work on our hands. But that's twice a week that they're getting those looks. This is our hat and hands, just 3, and then finish and give them a way to exit. Looking to stay, under the pads. Like you guys got, keep the pads down, man. Low man wins from little league to the NFL, the way I see it. Again, I used to teach a lot of rip. In fact, that's all I taught, because that's all Rutledge had taught me. And but I was a 5'9" inside linebacker that weighed 165 pounds. I really couldn't run up to these big guys and put my hands in them like that and think I was going to survive. But I've learned that kids have gotten stronger these days, and these guys, I teach all. That's all I teach is hat and hands. And I learned that from an assistant coach I had when I went to San Marcos. Had a linebacker that played at A&M, and that's all he taught was hat and hands. And those little guys in San Marcos took it. So I started teaching it that way from then on out, and that was 17 years deep in my career, and I finally changed it. But you'll see here, we're just working across the face, skating, boom, and getting across and trying to stack him as fast as we can. Again, nothing major about these drills. The intensity level that you play them at and the speed of it to get the lungs underneath you is important. We'll do these all off season. We don't have to have pads on. Of course, it works better with pads. I don't work shields or anything like that because your hands got to get used to that stuff. Plus, it just pansifies football, and I'm tired of making football pansy ass, man. All right, here's my this is our triangle drill. Usually there's a guy right here, another guy right here, but I didn't have enough linebackers in the offseason. And what they're doing right here is what I'm checking their eyes. And if I wasn't videoing, I'd be sitting back here or back here after I figured out that they're looking at the right things. Here, so imagine there's a center right here, and these guys are zoning this way. All right, we're going to key step here and rock and roll. That's our rock. Here's our roll, and we're going to go vertical to QB, or dive right here. So imagine this right here. You got zone read. He's coming out here. Here's the Q right here. Here's the dive coming out somewhere. He's going to rock, roll, and go find the dive. And he's going to go vertical to the dive. He doesn't want to stop in this line play. He wants to go through the line. This is a zone away. So I'm going to rock, then I'm going to roll, and I'm going to go vertical to quarterback. Okay? And when we get to the film, I'll show you why I switched it to vertical to quarterback. I used to just say rock and roll. Rock and roll, find dive. Rock and roll, find quarterback. Then I started using vertical dive because what was happening was these guys were going, they were rocking, they're doing a great job, and then they would stop right here. And the center would be able to get off zone, get off his block, and block him. And they just push him out of the way. So I had to stop saying that and start getting them to go vertical all the way through there into the backfield. And just vertical dive. it clicked in their mind progression. Okay. If
What
I'm
do you,
checking go ahead.
what are you telling them once they get to the line of scrimmage? How are they like specifically attacking the line of scrimmage? Do they keep their hips square? Are they turning? You know,
I tell them you're the running back. Go through the hole like a running back would.
okay.
So however they want to. I don't care. Pad level is important because if they don't, they're going to get pushed by somebody.
Right.
Like if this center was right here and he was doing this, and then we're playing a 3-4, this nose should be pushing the center this way and coming down the heel line. So he's going to fit right there. And if he doesn't fit tight off that nose's tail, let's say the nose is running right here, he's got to fit tight off that nose's tail. This guy's going to get him zoned. So get vertical. You're probably going to travel square through the line of scrimmage and get ready to hat and hands to rip this guy that's coming off on you right here. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So, this guy's going to step this way. That nose is going to rip and run. He's going to go that way. You're going to fit here. You can't let that guy get you. So, by whatever means necessary, you get through there. Same thing over here. So this would be, let's say that's the tackle right there. Okay. He's going to zone. I'm going to rock and roll. You got to negotiate this guy. Am I coming on the outside of him or the inside of him, depending on how he's come off or who he's blocking? If this is the 4-eye side, okay, you got a 4-eye right here. He's going to go zone. He should stay on this 4-eye. He better stay on that 4-eye. And now this linebacker can rock and roll off that edge. You got an outside linebacker squeezing from outside over here. And when we get to that film, I'll kind of get through that a little bit more. And you see it a little bit better with the film. But this is our rock and roll. Again, they're going to run through the line of scrimmage. This is zone 2, zone away. Again, they're getting about 2 or 3 reps of this, and the next guy's up. Here's our pull. Now, I got a linebacker that I'm having trouble with eyes. I'm going to stand back here and watch. And what I'm looking for is when that guy down blocks, his eyes should go from that down block to right in here where the center is and see that pull. And his eyes should transfer from here to here. And his body should take over and start that direction also. Okay? And that's what we're looking for right there when it comes to eyes. When this guy stands up and pulls, his eyes need to go find what this guy's doing. Is he sticking on the nose or is he coming up to me? Or what is this tackle doing? Is he staying down low or is he coming off high? And those things will help you get through those blocks. If it's just a straight up 1952 trap, he should stay down here and he should end up right here. If it's a counter, all right, and we got this guy coming, he's going to stay on that nose and he's going to come up. And what you've got to learn is he high or is he low? And if he's high, boom, you can sometimes skate him underneath. Okay? If he's low, you got to come over the top every time with this linebacker right here. So those are just some things to teach those guys. And you can learn that by standing back here and seeing what he's looking at. Because a lot of them, okay, coach, I watched that guard all the way. Yeah, you did. You sure did. You did. But this guy smacked you right in the face and knocked you down right here and you couldn't get up. So that's why I'm always looking for that eye progression. I try to get them out of the little league ball. I call it little league.
Yeah, those young guys especially can be very literal,
Yeah, for sure. There's a counter. The counter going up. This is our pass route. This goes back to our key steps. Again, this progression. Daily must, there should be a progression. You notice their footwork. They're kind of dropping their feet right there. And what I tell them is, at the beginning, I'll tell them, say it out loud, draw, then we drop. And that saves you on a lot of sprint draws. It saves you on a regular draw. It saves you on a cue draw. Just those 2 little hesitation steps right there really help. This is our goal line tackling. This is our main tackling drill that we do. Linebackers, more times than not, they're going to make tackling. They're going to tackle in some tight quarters. So you got, defensive linemen doubled up or whatnot on each side of you, and you got to tackle inside. So we try to keep these guys. Of course, in this drill right here, you can barely see the lines right there. There's another line right there. This is in the middle of 5 yards. So this guy's got to touch the bag and then go one way or the other. And if you don't touch the bag, it's going to make it hard on this guy. And what I'm looking for is him not to cross over. I want to see him shuffle, and then accelerate. I don't want him to just take off crossing over. These guys right here, these are the 2 starters. You see right here, that little kind of like y'all's D lineman's power step, same thing. He's got a little power step. Good. This guy right here, he's 188 pounds, 5'9", 10. He's going to go play ball at Mary Hardin Baylor. This one right here was all district, and he just going to go to A&M and become a sports marshal or something like that. Awesome kids though. But this kid right here probably ran a 4.9. This one right here probably ran a 4.6. This was the wheel linebacker who could go. This was my program kid that could get us lined up. And we just do this. Again, they're going to get 1, maybe 2 shots of this, and then we're gone. We're on to the next. I'm trying to get, you can't say get your head across anymore. You just can't say that just because of tackling the way it is. Right. What I teach them is get your chest in front. All right, get your big stuff. I tell them get your big stuff in front. And the other thing is get your hips in front of him. If you get your hips in front, then he can't spin from you. You're able to go both ways. You see they slide off to the back, and that I'm fine with this. This is out of his tackling. It's fine. It's right here. Inside, near foot, step into, near shoulder. They do a good job with it. But I don't sit there and tell them. The only time I'll coach them up on where their head is when it's in the wrong spot. Right. If they naturally hit like this, I don't mess with them. I just keep giving them some more tips on it, but I don't want to mess with them too much. But you'll see most of these guys slide their head to the back. This one right here, this is a program kid. He's real literal. He's going to be where he needs to be on time. He's going to be Mike linebacker next year. He's also a 2-sport guy. He's a wrestler right now, doing a great job. But you can see he's trying to get his chest in front of him, and it deals for that. Now you got that head collision right there that we're trying to keep him out of, So just got to keep on coaching that stuff and make the game safer. Here's our sled drills. Again, guys, this is all stuff I am doing the first 15 minutes of practice, and it takes me literally these sled drills here that we do. If I take 8 minutes on them, I took too long. They're going to hit it one way down and one way back, and we are going. This is a forearm shiver, forearm lift. We're sliding on this one. We're not backing up. I'm using this one just for guts, also conditioning. We ain't going to slow down too much for them. They're gonna get conditioned. The second guy leaves when he hits the third one, and what we're trying to do is time it. And what I tell them is we're trying to move this sled as a team, as a bunch of linebackers. We're going to try to move this sled as far as we can. So the first day we do these, they might move it 4 feet because it's a heavy sled, right? And the second, third week, man, we're moving it 20 feet, 30 feet down the road. And now they feel like they're accomplishing something. This is what I call this one a forearm shoulder lift. We're backing up, taking on the ISO basically. This is when you got to go through a lineman. You got to go through somebody big. And you see they're trying to time it and try to get this sucker moved together. The other thing that I love about this sled, I've never had this sled. You can see it right there. Let me rewind it right there. All right, so this kid right here, this kid is going to be one of those, he's also a wrestler. He's going to be a line him up, and he's just instinctive kid. And he's going to be a small linebacker. He's going to be one of the toughest ones I got for this simple reason right here. When he hits this thing, he hits it low, and if you'll watch it, it'll slide back, and when it hits the back, that's when it'll raise up. It'll it'll unlatch and raise up. And that's what I'm looking for on this particular set. I'm looking for it to slide back and then raise up, because then I know he's hitting low enough. And we're trying to rip with our forearm and clean with our off arm. So they're ripping with their left arm right now, and they're cleaning with their right arm to get them off of them. Again, we are going as fast as we can on this because I want their tongues dragging. Prescribed, activate your feet. We talked about that. Let's say we're having trouble with yak yards, they're running after contact. Well, I go to this and we just run our feet on contact, and I make them put that whistle down, put that pad down when I blow the whistle. So as soon as the first whistle, they're going to contact, run their feet, and the second whistle, they're going to get it down on the ground. This really helps on contact to get those feet moving. Boom, boom, boom. And then also teaches them how to finish. I tell them, bury them through the blades of grass. I want you to run their carcass through the blades of grass. And that really gets them finishing on top, because that's what they're trying to do. And we're just running through these. This is a prescribed drill, so you won't do this one every day. I'll probably do it once a week. only if I see that our guys are having some trouble running feet. Okay, so going back, we talked about the triangle drill. Now we're talking about the zone fit off that triangle drill. So again, a progression. We've taught hat and hands that you're going to need to defend the zone. We've taught a forearm shoulder lift in case you got to deal with a big guy. We have taught rock and roll on our triangle reads, and now we're going to put it together on a play. Okay, so we're going to read the offensive guard to the backfield. That's the way I like to start it. We're going to rock and roll, which means we're fallback linebackers. Some of you guys may know it like that. We're going to key step the zone and then cross the face of the offensive lineman. So we are offensive lineman is like a big old dump truck, okay, big old semi. They don't have power steering. A linebacker should have some power steering. We should be able to cross that face because we're quicker than them, period. And if we're not quicker than them, then maybe that linebacker probably needs to be a D lineman. A pro, we get another athlete on the quarterback in zone read. So if you've got a stud duck quarterbacks in your league, in your district, and you need two guys on them, this is the way to get two guys on them. This was kind of developed back in the Judson days, where Glenn Mangold, who's the head coach at New Braunfels right now, me and him would go after it when Vince Young was doing all the zone read stuff. We had to learn it, and we learned it in spring ball going against each other, varsity offense versus varsity defense. And that's how we got to this rock and roll stuff. Con, you get him blocked out by the offensive lineman, and I'll kind of show you that in the video. And then, again, the kid's not seeing a lock block, which is basically where they're just going to block back and open a hole where the back can cut back. And, again, the program kids sometimes it's hard for, but the outside linebackers and the studs that are instinctive, they can always see it. Coaching tips, it all starts with a good rock and roll step. You got to set up that offensive lineman. You got to use your hat and hands. And then the backside is vertical to quarterback, and to the zone, your vertical to dive. Again, we talked about those words, that lingo already. So let's look at this play. I got a couple plays here. Not a lot. What we learned was not very many people ran zone on us. So let's see here. Okay. All right. And I think they didn't run a lot of zone on us because, we did play it in this fashion. So this quarterback right here, he could run. He was fleet of foot. And this is our base way of doing it. It's our fundamental way of doing it. I don't like switching back between pressing linebackers in the gap and rocking and rolling them because I don't think in a week you can get the muscle memory to do it that way. Will I adjust it in the game sometimes if needed per quarter? Yeah, I'll try. But, kids are pretty locked in muscle memory-wise to doing what your fundamental way is. So what you need to do as a good coach is in the offseason, you really need to look at what your fundamental ways of playing things are going to be and teach to that because 90%, 95% of the time probably, that's the way it's going to play out in the game. So right here, we got a zone. We got a zone to us here. Boom, you can see it's coming this way down to the bottom. Everybody's zoning off. It looks like this guy's trying to lock our 4-eye right here. This is our 5. This is our 9. This is our nose. So he's going to set up, and he's going to rock. He's going to rock, and then he's going to go searching for dive, all right? And he's going to go searching for quarterback, okay? Vertical to dive, vertical to quarterback is the way it should play out here. Let's see what happens. Boom. All right. So they're meshed up here. Boom, he's coming off. You see this lineman's coming up to get him. Remember, we're going to rock him. So his aiming point is this way, and then we're going to roll him. Okay, and he shouldn't be able to – there he goes. Shouldn't be able to beat him, and he can't. Right there like that. This one got a little bit – this one was a little bit better because it looks like we're head up out here, maybe even outside. So he didn't get any wood put on him. He didn't get flattened to step. So he ends up getting on this backside linebacker right here, okay? But you see there, that guy has no power steering. Boom, we're in the hole making the tackle. Now, this is where it gets a little tough. You see this guy's getting pushed around a little bit. That's where it's a little bit tough for a guy. That's why we put the term vertical to quarterback, vertical to dive, because if I just said, go get, you got Q, he would stop right there and he would think he's blocked and he would try to take the Q from 2-3 yards deep. But if I say vertical, you'll see he's going to keep on pushing through there. Okay? And he's going to keep pushing. And yeah, he's got this Q right here. And in my eyes, he's still in position. If that Q pulled that ball, he'd be right here and he'd be right here. This is why we like playing the rock and roll linebackers, fallback linebacker. We like playing it because it's two people, all right, on the Q. He's got the inside shoulder. He's got the outside shoulder. If they have some type of option coming on, he would take Q by himself. He would slow play and get out to the pitch. Okay? So this is why the number one reason we like playing rock and roll linebackers. Okay?
Talking about your front side linebacker there,
Mm-hmm.
I think you would say that, you know, you like that he's keeping some depth instead of just flying in there,
Right.
inviting that lineman upfield so that he can rip underneath him. Right?
Without doubt. And what I do with these two guys, they were so smart. Coach Ricker, who was the DC before I got to Johnson, he was Coach Ritterman's DC. He had these two, and he did a great job of coaching. In fact, Coach Ritterman's, all his coaches, we kept most of them, but they did such a great job of coaching these kids. I mean, we taught them scheme, but their skill level was so high and their intelligence level was so high. I would let these guys line up wherever they wanted to within this box area. You know, sometimes we like the Mike linebacker up at a different level, but sometimes he would line up over here. Sometimes he would line up over here. So this guy just doesn't have one angle all the time. He's got to think about where he's at, you know, and especially if we were blitzing. We'll blitz from half. We'll blitz from back here. We blitz from coming over here. You know, we were able to move those kids around because they understood scheme, and that made that guy's job much harder because it wasn't just a standing blocking dummy like they see in practice all the time. So, yeah, definitely change it up. Give a little, you know, the best, in my opinion, the best block shedding is not getting touched. If you can run around them and I know old school football says go through the block, but if I get around him, I'm getting around his ass. Right at the end. Let's see here. Trying to see what my notes are here. But there, we got so many dang things up. Okay, so we changed some gap responsibility here. They did some scanning. We ended up calling a little stunt right here. You see everybody looks up. Again, smart defense. We made a little change up here and there. I don't even remember what the change up was, to tell you the truth. But you got to have that ability. There it is right there. All right, so what we did here is we took him, who's normally playing in here, we took him and slammed him in that A gap and brought him outside. So we just a little gap exchange. Boom, you see that right there. He still has the outside, okay? Now he's going to fit, and he's going to hat and hands him because he was good at it. So he'll end up going two-way go right there, all right? And he's getting over here and pressing. They forgot to block this guy, so that really helps a lot. Now he might get slammed, but, hey, 2-on-1, somebody's winning, and it's this guy right here, okay? I'm getting, a 2-on-1. There's something that's happening here. Now go back to two people on the Q. Here's why we like it. Boom, you see our outside linebacker squeezes it down. He does a good job of playing hat and hands, and boom, we're on the play. Again, we got two on the Q, and the Q was the one that hurt us. So just a simple little change up, just a simple quick call, and that was it. And those linebackers knew where to be, when to be, how to be. Outside linebacker did a good job of chasing them back inside to where the pit bulls are. I tell them these D linemen are the bulldogs. All right, these are the pit bulls, and these are the greyhounds back here. Which kind of dog you going to be? We don't want poodles. They're little chihuahuas, them little chirpers.
Now, so time I know that rock and rolling is part of that visual progression, right? Like that visual / and then it goes into your mind progression.
Right.
Is there, if you're seeing you know, that week a lot of stretch or maybe a lot of jet or things like that, is there ever a situation or a time during the week where you're saying, hey guys, we're not going to rock and roll this week because of that?
I'm going to play the outside. I call it wide. Anything outside the tackles, outside the hashes, I'm going to play with the outside linebackers and the safeties.
Okay.
So I'm going to keep them in the box as long as we can, knowing that if it's not a zone read mesh, they're going to turn and run the sweep. They'll run the sweep. They'll run the wide. But if we mesh down there and there's a zone read mesh, the back's shoulder pads are face downhill versus face towards the sideline. Zone read mesh, we're going to play zone read.
Yeah.
If it's a wide mesh where his shoulder pads are faced towards the sideline, they may get out of there a little bit quicker and not rock and roll as much.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That takes a lot of they got to be pretty instinctive to do it that way. You see here, right here. There it is right here, exactly what you're asking, to tell you the truth. So this is a zone read mesh, but look at technically a zone read mesh, and we'd need somebody on that quarterback. But look at his shoulder pads. They're facing the sideline. The ball's going outside. He knows not to take off. He's going to stay slow right here. He's going to close off anything backside. And now these guys are free to run. They're free to run now because of the mesh. Now, if there was another back right here, let's say the back was right here and he meshed and he was just doing jet motion. There was no mesh with this guy. I'm going to play the zone read underneath.
Yeah.
If there's a zone read mesh, we're going to play the zone read period. But you see here, going back to the tracking drill that we taught. Here it is. 36 is tracking. Speeds up, slows down, speeds up, slows down, accelerates to the ball. And that's why I've kind of gotten to the daily must have been just these certain footwork drills, because they work and you can see them on film. That was a drill, probably the second drill of the first day, and we ran it dang near every day except for Wednesdays, and it pays off. And you could see that tracking. You can see that all the way down to the freshman level. Those kids doing that tracking. It's a good look from the back in there. Inside zone, see air trigger on thread. Okay. So, again, just a zone read look. Now, the difference between zone read and inside zone at Johnson High School is a zone read, they're all going to zone. They're going to combo up. They're going to zone. They're going to come off their blocks and move up to the linebackers. If it's what we call a true inside zone, they're going to double and stay on those linemen. They're going to block the linemen and stay doubled on them. And when that happens, you've got to clean the inside of your gap out. And see, we got doubles right there. We got doubles right there. He's going to clean the inside of the gap. You notice the gap is this wide. He's going to stay right here on the inside of the gap. Why? Because this guy's going to end up helping him by folding inside if this hat stays buried like it is. And they blocked out right here, and they blocked out right here. So he's going to come. Here's the gap right here. He's going to take out the inside of the gap. Again, same concept. There's a safety probably in this box somewhere that's going to come in and help us here. Okay? So inside zone, we're going to attack our gap when we get threat. That ball going downhill like that, both gaps you don't know which way he's coming out. So they're going to attack the inside of their gap. Here they come, and boom. Now, Coach, what happens if this guy comes off like he's supposed to? Okay, cool, hat and hands. That's why we're going to attack the inside of the gap, so you can end up right there like that on him. But they didn't come off. We made the play. Good day for the Johnson Jaguars.
Yeah, to give the D lineman throw him a bone. He does a great job of occupying that double team there to make it difficult for him to come off.
Yeah. What's y'all's favorite technique on double team play? Let me go back to this.
If man, I've tried it all, because I've had all different types of linemen. When we were in Kerrville, had a lot of shorter Hispanic kids that
linebackers.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember playing you guys.
Yeah. And so we would do different things, and kind of the little nursery rhyme that I would use a lot was push, pull, sit on a stool. And so basically, we talk about pressure key and your postman, your pressure key, and things like that. Right. We're going to turn that hip into that pressure key once we feel pressure, and try our best to get our hat in a crack and split it.
Gotcha.
I do not want ever to pull down and cause a pile. I think that's give up football, and all of a sudden we start falling down like little faint goats or something. And so anyway, that's kind of the how I would teach it. Well,
I would love to have three guys do this all day long, but we never have three guys like that can do it all day long.
Yeah.
So what I like getting down, and I learned that from Pete Gibbons over at Judson. For years, we would play with 180, 190, 210 pounds. If we had a 210 pound defensive lineman, that was big.
Yeah.
So we would hit the ground, grab these ankles like that. Back in the Judson day, we would have our head right here, and we'd be grabbing this ankle and that ankle. Okay. Yeah. And we taught that towards the end of the season because we started getting beat up, playing a few more guys. So we started getting down. And what we found was they would stay on the double team, And if I got a double team, that means these guys are free just like they are right now.
Right. Right.
Now, what we also found was you're playing with a 190-pound, 210-pound lineman. They're pretty quick, right? If that dude, let's say we got down like this, we grabbed this ankle, this guy comes off right here. He just 9 times out of 10, that cat could get back up and make a play. And that's what we found. So that's what we try to teach, get down, demand the double team, and go from there.
Well, that's even different from, and I guess what I was talking about is like when you
just hit your belly. Yeah.
Yeah. Or either that or where you just pull those guys on top of you. And because I did try that. And what would happen was those guys would just, first of all, they'd pop up, and then, first sign of trouble, they're just falling back and kind of giving up. That's a little different going at those ankles because they are causing a pile.
We found that we were so quick that we could feel both of those suckers coming at us, and be able to get down and pop actually back up in between them. Yeah, and just help. It helped tremendously. I saw so many plays be made with that technique. Again, changing gaps on here. Same thing. So now what we did was we're in an Indian front. So I've got some tight 2 eyes. In fact, they're pretty much shades. They're not even 2 eyes. They're shades, and we got 5s right here. Just change up the gap a little bit. You notice that I got my little outside linebacker is playing in here. Yeah, it's not what we like, but you know what? He bit down on his mouthpiece and he got it done. Again, but we just changed up the gaps for the running back, and it makes it tough on him. And now, again, we rock this sucker in here. Linebackers were able to come outside, and here we go. And see where that back comes out? See how the back ended up going back door? That's another reason that we went to the rock and roll linebackers. Let me draw this up real quick. Okay. So where you have problem when you're playing 3-4, anything, when they go zone here, right? Everything's fine and everything's on time, okay? When that back comes out right there, that's fine, okay? But when the back comes out here and the quarterback comes out here and you're pressing gaps, now you're down a guy. Now your safety has to come up and play one of those two because your outside linebacker is going to be on. He can only handle one. That's the other reason we came. One, we wanted to stop the quarterbacks because they were Vince Young-like back in the day. And 2, when they both came out back door, you don't have the number. And numbers are numbers. They don't lie. If you don't have the right numbers over here as to over here, and you are a man down, you're going to get beat. I don't care what defense you play. Right. You're going to get beat. So it was a numbers game for us.
And it's also, I'm sure it helps you against split zone. When you get into 2-back stuff
right. When they start locking it, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we just took this right here. He came outside, and then we were off to the races again. Get that outside linebacker to help. That outside linebacker, the good ones, man, they will keep them things corralled. See here, this guy should be blocking him, but he doesn't. I think we're just playing a simple cover 3 behind this. And, yeah, they're trying to run some little RPO game out there, but it didn't develop, thank God. I don't even know if this linebacker's going. I think he just rock and rolls and keeps going vertical. Looks like he's on a stunt, but he's not. Yeah, he's not on a stunt. Let's see here. Here's your divide zone you were talking about. I think they're going to divide it with the H back here. Let's look. This is another front. This is a 46 front, a bear front. We got 3s in there. Here comes the kick out block, right? We're going full zone this way. Kick out block here. I'm going to set edge. The reason he's getting upfield because it's a bear front and we are taking gaps. We're not reading in our bear front. We go in our bear front. But you see the rock and roll here. He comes off that edge right there where he's supposed to be, and boom, finds the back. Surprise, surprise, surprise. So, again, just some alignment changes, but the linebackers are all still doing the same thing, muscle memory. This goes all the way back to the triangle drill, rock and roll.
And I think that translates really well into, because everybody today, and I think this is a good thing, you base out of a 3-4, but you're going to get in a 4-down look,
Yeah.
and I think always the scare there is, well, how's that going to change up our fits? But if you're coaching it like this, kind of like what you're talking about, it really, those linebackers, they probably don't even know that you're
No.
in a 46 front, or
It, it, the front changes are minimal to their eye progression and their mind progression.
right.
You know, the only thing they need to do is be on time when this lineman's going down, blocking down, or whatnot. Or the stunts. That's about all they need to know. And what we like to do is we like to give our defensive line. They've got an inside stunt and an up the field stunt. And then the 5's got a long stick to the A gap where it's a 2-gap stunt, and that's it. And then our linebackers fit off of them. And we'll just call it like a sentence. We'll send these guys, they'll hear their stunt first, then those linebackers will hear their stunt, and then the DBs will hear their coverage. So here, again, just simple movement. They don't know who to block right here. They're trying to do a lock zone, what I call a lock zone. Here's the zone read. They're going zone this way right here. They're all going zone this way, and they're going to lock these two right here, and they forget to drop. They forget to block the nose. But then, again, gets our athlete on an athlete. Remember, we want athlete on their quarterback, and defensive ends aren't always the athletes they need to be to stop those quarterbacks. So big turnovers, a lot of fun playing defense when you're getting turnovers. A lot of fun. Let's see here. There it is. Boom, boom, boom. All right, let's see. Oh, what? That shouldn't be there. Another gap exchange right here. My favorite stunt, just taking the nose and going against the grain and bringing the linebacker all the way to the front A gap. Boom, boom. This simple little stuff. Nothing. This ain't rocket science here. He looks like he's going through his A gap, which is his responsibility, and he just exchanges gaps with that nose guard.
And so that nose is he's just told to stunt to the back.
On this one, it's a booger stunt. So he's supposed to cross this guy's face and be in this A gap. That's his gap, and then he's going to take his gap and be in this A gap right here.
Okay.
What he's taught is if the zone goes away, just shove him in the gap and come off his butt.
Yeah,
is what he's taught. That way the hole's plugged up, and instead of trying to fight our way across the face, we clog the hole with the body. So right there, he clogged the hole perfect.
Yep.
And boom, now we're good to go. Yeah. But just simple stuff, early, I think that stunt right there, and maybe the Mike linebacker stunt with 5 was about the only 2 stunts we had in this game right here. Our first game of the season. Actually, our third game. Everything in the back. If we send one linebacker, we're probably going to play a zone or void a zone. If we're sending 2 linebackers, it's going to be some type of man free. Three guys are going. We're probably going to be in a zero coverage somehow. Let's talk counterfeits. All right, play side. You get your offensive guard down block. You look through the chap line. That's where right behind the center. See if anybody's pulling back. Redirect, scrape tight, spill the second level. Backside, okay, your OG pulls. You got to communicate pull. Then you key through the trap line and scrape to the air. That's kind of like you got to see where that tackle is, see if he's low or see if he's high, so you understand where to attack him at. Okay, we'll look through a couple of these. There's not a lot of them. A lot of them are H counters or F counters, I guess you call. Let's see here. All right, so we got a pull right here. I'd call this a power because he's first. Anytime he's first, I call him power, but it's still the same concept. Spill, fill is what we call it. He should come up and hard jar this guy right here. All right, he's going to take that down block and try to spill this guy. If he doesn't, then this linebacker is going to rock and roll, and he'll spill him. And then that back should come out right through there, and either this guy coming over the top or that safety dropping down in the box is the guy that should get him. Let's see what happens here. Okay, we got a down block. He's playing I think it's a read technique. He does a good job right there. You see play side's getting ready to spill. He's got the hard jar, and he's just searching. Boom. Now he comes over the top. See, this guy, if he wouldn't have dipped right there, he'd have been fine. But he dips and boom. That's undisciplined ball right there. And he first quarter he had a rough quarter, and then after that he straightened it out, and we shut these guys down after that. But if he just stays on the outside arm and leg free, this play's dead. You can see where he's fitting in there. Everything's good. Let's go back to this part of it, though. What really did us a lot of help was he got pull. He said pull. All right. Okay, so number 2 right here on the bottom of the screen, this linebacker right here, our Mike linebacker, he should be communicating pull, pull, pull. And if you watch, you'll see his eyes flash over to this guy. This guy's supposed to down block is what he's supposed to do, but he ain't doing that. So more power to us. And he's looking to go underneath him or over the top of him is where he should be looking. You see his eyes travel a little bit because you see his head rocking back and forth. And boom, he's just waiting. He's filling out the play like he's playing a piano. Boom, 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 down the field. That's what I like seeing out of those guys. You know, when I was in San Marcos, our face masks were white, so I could really register where their eyes were going into play. Here, our face masks are black or navy, so it's kind of hard to watch those face masks. But here you can see right here. Let's go. Let's see if we can do it real slow here. All right. He's got the pull. Look at his eyes right here. You know, look at that face mask basically. And let's see if we can see where he's tracking. All right. He should be looking for this guy right here. You can see he's not. He's playing Little League ball. That's why he almost gets stuck inside. Yep. That's how, and that's how I learn where their eyes are. I just look at face mask, and you know, I wish we had some high def cameras, but as good as it gets right now. Like I said, there wasn't. Some of these are out of place, so
no problem.
That's all good. No telling when they got shuffled. All right, so here's just a basic counter. Okay, guard and tackle pull here. We get our hard jar. Boom, here comes a spill out of the play side linebacker. Now, we sent the backside linebacker, so we got an issue now. All right, that's one bad thing about sending linebackers a lot. We got a little bit of issue because what we don't have is our filler right here, but he should be coming out of the secondary somewhere, okay? Spill, spill, fill, remember? Here's the hard jar, hard side arm leg frill. Here's the spill, and then somebody's got to come clean it up. Let's see who it is. There's the safety right there. Might have been a corner on a nub end, though. Boom. So now let's go back to the sled. Remember we were using that forearm shoulder lift where we were backing up 5 yards and attacking the sled?
Yep.
Look, this is exactly what he's using right here. Watch him come and double over this guy. Boom. Sets him right there.
Yeah.
Makes the play. Again, no power steering, right? That's huge.
And I think one of the points on that sled is being able to lift it up so that he's not just sacrificing one for one. That's not the goal.
Right. No, it isn't. It isn't at all. We're going to go through these suckers.
Yeah. So I think that doing that, and that's kind of something that you could maybe overlook when coaching that up is getting him to lift that up so that he can come off and make that play.
No doubt. Now see here, the corner is our field guy. They're in a counter play, power play, wherever they're pulling to, whether it's H-back and then the second guard or it's guard and tackle GT or it's power, there's got to be somebody to hard jar, there's got to be somebody to spill, and there's got to be somebody to fill. Here's our field guy right here. And it all goes back to numbers again, making sure you have the right numbers on the right side of the ball. But the other thing I want you to look at, remember we talked about I let these guys line up wherever they want to line up. I give them a little leeway. He's in the middle of the formation right here. He knew he was stunning, right? So he walked out here. Well, now these guys, they don't have that target to aim at anymore because technically on film, he's been watching him stand there every time. You know what I mean? So just little changes like that really matter when the athlete doesn't have power steering. Coach, he's not where he was supposed to be. You're right. Nobody says I got to be there.
Yeah, that's a great look at that right there,
mm-hmm.
of that shoulder strike.
Yeah, I'll go back to it real quick. And the other part to it is the feet stay moving.
Yeah.
Boom, feet, runs the circle, and here we go. You ever go back and watch old LT film? That's how he used to get all those sacks on contact. His feet were hotter than his hands a lot of times. And he'd sink that shoulder. He'd grab the inside, the up underneath the arm, and he'd pull down. And when he pulled down, it catapulted him around the lineman. That and a little bit of cocaine helped him go fast too.
Exactly. That's
I don't prescribe that to our kids. Oh, okay. So we got a little F counter here. Again, somebody's got a hard jar. 22 gets up the field a little bit too far, but that's because 77 is taking so long. But watch 36 coming again. He's going to spill, and he dang near gets them both. But here, that rip isn't as good. Look how high he is right here. He's high, but at the end of the day, guess what he did? He took out the blocker we needed. He sacked bunt. He laid down a bunt for this other linebacker to get through. You see, number two's working. This goes back to that other thing we were talking about. His eyes need to see where this guy's coming from, okay? And if that guy's high, which this guy is, see how high he went? He went underneath him. No, he's going to go right up underneath him, and he's quick enough to do it, okay? Now, if this guy comes off super low and keeps his hand on that guy and he's like here, then he's going to go right over the top of him. Again, not being a blocking dummy for that guy, because there's a lot of coaches that will say, you got to go over the top. You got to go over the top. Well, he's going to waddle out there, and then he's going to waddle you this way, and he's going to wash a hole right there. So that's why I like giving him the option. Now, he makes a mistake 1-2 times in the game, then I'm going to probably reel him in and tell him, you're going to do it this way from here on out. These guys were really instinctive, so I let them play as much as I could. Let's check his eyes right here. Kind of hard to see. We're looking at this guy's eyes to see what he's looking at over here. Yep, there you go. See, so he peeked him. He saw he was high, and he goes underneath. Whoop, right there. He also saw there was some trouble in the backfield. So, all right, backside trap line. We're always talking about the trap line, the trap line, the trap line. That's just where you're going to be able to see the puller come from. Okay. This guy right here better be communicating pull. That's number one. Okay. 2, he's getting the down block here. His eyes need to travel right through this trap line. He's going to hear pull. He's going to see pull, and that's the confirmation, the affirmation that, hey, I need to redirect. Because he's telling me it's pull, and my eyes are telling me it's pull because I went through the trap line looking at it. Okay? And that'll get him to redirect. Sometimes they don't even have to move their feet to redirect. Boom. See that? He's already headed back to his side of the field. Instead of rocking and rolling, he's headed to his side of the field because he talked it and he saw it and it confirmed. Now, these outside linebackers here, anytime play is away, they're taught to build a fence. And their area is here. And they're going to help where that area is. You see here, this is a pretty good lineman right here, by the way. He comes off, he was able to get to him. Right here, if he would have used his hat and hands, he probably would have been a little bit better off. But he starts to use that forearm, and he feels the ball still inside, so he's trying to come back inside. But this little scat back here is about to go back outside. And you'll see here, number 2 searching through here. He knows to stay behind the ball. Stay behind the ball. Stay behind the ball. And that keeps him in a good place right there. Yeah, 64 was a good one. Of course, O'Connor always has good ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is just great tracking right here. That same drill that we went back to, tracking, staying behind the ball. There's also our zone tackling drill where we're just kind of key step, and then we trigger it on the zone. Same kind of concept here. Boom. Takes that away, makes him cut outside. Then he goes into a lot of traffic, and we're able to make a play. Let's see here. Backside linebacker stay, but there we go. Same thing. Backside linebacker staying behind the ball. Boom. This is just again good play right here. The only thing I'd say, see how he crosses over his feet. This is game one, so we had to fix him feet because he doesn't have good muscle memory yet. You see number 2 hopping, big hops. Those aren't good either. Then he goes straight to a crossover, gets him in trouble. He knows he's supposed to stay behind the ball on counters or any play away. Boom, he's able to redirect. Again, going back to power steering with 68. Can't get his hands on either one of them. And boom, we got a good hit. He's working over here to get that second spill. You see that? He gets the second spill. So right here, we're going to get the hard jar right here. Boom. Here's this guy rolling up. We get the play side. Boom. On that spill. And then he's working over the top. So it kind of works out perfectly. Boom, boom, boom. I sure wish I got these two linebackers back. It would be awesome.
That's a pretty look at it right there.
Yeah. It's just good film right here. Again, look where he's standing. He's in the middle again. He's off to the side. We were bringing the safety down and adding a safety to the box. See him come down right here. That's why they were roped over at that point in time. I don't like to move the linebackers too much until they get real comfortable. This was game one, but we had to have that extra safety down for that filler. Okay, we had to have – otherwise we were going to be tackling 8-10 yards deep, and we didn't want to do that. So right here at this point right here, this is the filler. 34 is the filler. Because we pretty much know he's going to get blocked somehow, some way. He just was able to play, outside his boots. But technically, he should hard jar, he should spill, he should fill is the way it should play out. Oh, yeah. Damn it. All right. You can see his head turns just a little bit this way to go see who's coming at him. And you see his head, he ain't looking in the backfield. He's looking at this puller going to see what's starting to come down at him. See how he peeks right there? That's how he knows where that guy's up and boop. See those guys, those are intermediate, those are stud belt linebackers right there. They ain't program kid. Another backside behind the ball, playing it from inside out. I believe this one goes outside if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So just needs a little bit better on the tackle. So on that tackle right there, see how his feet don't run when he makes contact? So I'm going to popsicle next week. I'm going to do that popsicle sled, and we're going to activate our feet. And I think we did do that after this game because there was a lot of tackles like that. Let's see here. Scrape tight. Again, probably somewhere, I don't know what exactly, what part of the game we're in here. Fourth quarter, so we're backed up a little bit. I think they need to go pretty long. Again, we're changing our look is still the same. What we're looking at, our triangle is still the same, but we're just changing up our depth now. Now we're just searching. We see pool, we talk pool, we go. And the word we use is pull with the guards. If the tackle pulls the outside linebackers who they're keying through the end man, which is normally the tackle, to the mesh, their communication is dart. That really helps us with the darts. Darts, that good dart team can always pop one on you because your linebackers, it's a hard play to see.
Right.
But if your outside linebacker is yelling dart, dart, dart when he sees that tackle pull, man, that really helps.
Yeah, that's a great point, and to distinguish between those two, dart and pull.
Yeah, it's helped. We just started doing that about 4 years ago, and it's really helped quite a bit. They're just searching again. That goes back to that tracking drill. Let me see what's the next. Kind of going along here. Trying to get to the next set of plays. Tight inside. There we go. Power, again, power really, to me, fits like any counter also. It's just who's going to block first, who's the kick out. On a power, your H-back's going to be your kick out guy. On a counter, your guard's going to be a kick out guy. Does that matter? I mean, I'm going to teach the same technique. It matters maybe to the outside linebacker because one's bigger than the other or one's more athletic than the other, but the fit of it is still the same. OG down block, look through the trap line, redirect. You have the QB 100% on power read. Backside, OG pulls, communicate pull, key step through, trap line, negotiate the offensive tackle. Where is he? Is he high or is he low? And we're going to play quarterback to the wide. Again, the wide is your outside zone. On a power read, the one thing that I am pretty adamant about is the play side linebacker has to be on the quarterback 100% of the time. If I ever see him take off on the wide, the outside sweep part, I'm going to get it into him pretty good. If he tells me, Coach, I was 100%, then I'll trust him. But the one time that he doesn't take that quarterback and the quarterback pulls it and goes down the pipe, he's probably going to be sitting on the sideline with me. So he better know his 100%. Okay. Power read. Boom. Here we go. We got the power back right there. He's going to roll up. We're going to mesh right here. This guy's going to ride and come down. He should be on the cue all the time. And then he's going to scrape through, help out on the wide. This guy's in charge of wide. Corner or safety, whatever we're in, cloud or sky, is in charge of the wide. We are in charge of the quarterback, okay? The quarterback and spilling our hard jar and whatever we might need to do. And I like to keep these guys in the box as much as possible and let the outside linebackers and the safeties play the wide, the outside zone as much as possible.
So the play side linebacker, I guess what's telling him that it's power read instead of just typical power or even a counter is the mesh.
Right.
That's his progression. He sees the guard, then he goes to the quarterback and sees the mesh, and that slows him down.
It's the mesh, and at the same time, he's going to scrape tight. And what shows. This guy is going to skip him. If it's power read, he's going to go around him. He ain't going to block him.
Right.
He's still scraping tight because if he doesn't scrape tight, guess what? The linebacker, the quarterback's going to pull it and cut back on him. Yeah. So he's still playing at his power. This is the guy who's going to miss him, you know?
Yeah.
And I think he does it here, tell you the truth. See how he goes around him? Yep. And we just search it out and take that. Well, he ends up handing the ball, and we ended up turning back, thank God. So, boom. He just takes the first thing that scrapes, shows up there. Could have been the quarterback. It was the back here. I think later on in the game, they ended up taking that back out that way more, and that quarterback ends up pulling it once or twice. And it's a tough play, man. This is a intermediate tough play. This is one of those power read. It's one of those plays you better start at the beginning and just teach it as a fundamental play in your fit drills because you're going to get burnt on it eventually.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of power reads on this film just because we didn't see very many. We called a little stunt here into the power read because we knew we were going to get the power read, so that's why that linebacker's running through there. We're just trying to get to the cue on it. Backside linebacker's kind of playing the game. He's just feeling it out again. He was one of those field guys. I just lined him up and let him play. I didn't teach him too much after that. Doesn't sound like I'm a good coach, but I'm smart enough to know to let him play. Sometimes coaches get in their own damn ways. Let's see here.
Right.
If they're good, they're good. What is it, the old Jimmys and the Joes?
That's right.
Yeah. Just another gap exchange play right here with the backside linebacker. It's that booger blitz again. Filled up both of the A gaps. Boom. He's going to come spill. You'll see here. He knows to spill. Boom. And he's going to fill right. It's just like it's supposed to be. Again, the gap exchange is big. Let me see what this is right here. I got to move this little thing because I can't see what the play is. Yeah, power read weak. One thing as a young coach calling plays, this team was really good at power read. So we blitzed the power read, whether it been a gap exchange here and there to the quarterback or whether it was right here trying to fit him in the back door of the quarterback. But we let them know early we were going to take the power read away by blitzing basically the C gap. And that's just it's that chess game you play with the other coach.
Right.
If I see that they're going to run, they're a good zone team, I'm going to blitz the zone early, you know, and let them know, look, I watched film on you. I know what you like. I'm trying to get you out of it.
I think, and it might have been you, but I thought I heard it from someone else too, that at the DFW clinic exactly what you just said is whatever they like to do, whatever their bread and butter is, blitz it early so they know that you've been watching film and you have a plan for that, so that they're going to have to go to their next thing.
What you'll find is late in the game when they need their nut cut and play, they won't run it because you blitzed it early, like he knows. So then you got guys like, you know, the good ones, Westlake and Katie, that they don't care.
That's right.
They don't care. This is just regular power. This is getting out of the power read, I believe. Yeah. Again, it goes back to hard jar spill. Here's the hard jar right here. Here's the spill right here. You'll see him come underneath and he's going to come clean up. See how he's going to find, he's seeking that guy out to spill him because he knows he's a bunter. You got a bunt. Stay on the outside right here, and we got him where we need him. That little scat back was good, though. Golly, he get out a lot of messes. Let's see here. I said all this power read. It really plays the same. It's going to fit pretty much the same. You know, biggest thing on power read is get somebody on the cue. Make sure your outside linebacker understands what he's in charge of, which is the wide or the outside sweep stuff, and then let your backside fill it up. Well, I don't think I only have one play on the dart, but this is what you're thinking, this is what you're looking at. OG down block, look through the trap line, see the pullers, build second level. Anything in second level in my book is any puller, any H-back, anybody that's not on the line of scrimmage is, to me, a second puller. Anybody that folds becomes a second puller. Clean the inside of the hole, get big, dart to the wheel linebacker, key step, see the OT pull, hear the dart, redirect, scrape to air. Try to talk through this a little bit when we get to the film. OG steps out, trust your key step the way the OG fits. This is the only one where, like I said, I'm trying to spill everything at second level, but the dart is the only one to the wheel linebacker side that he may hard jar it. And I'll explain that here in the film. I'm not going to do a good job, so sometimes I'll just got to get to the film, though. All right. Let's see here. There we go. All right. So we're playing a 4-eye. We're going to fundamentally, we're going to read the guard when we're playing a 4-eye right here. All right. He's going to block out. All right, he's going to block out. So you know, dart, something's coming in the A gap because that's the weakness of the defense is that A gap right there. He should block down right here, and then this guy, you can see already him starting to pull. All right, so by rule, he should be key stepping outside because his guard stepped outside. Okay, the one rule I tell him: key step the way the guard key steps, look through the trap line, and up to the mesh, you know, same thing we've been talking about all day. Here, the other rule I told him is fill a second puller. Well, here's second level puller is going to come, but he's on the outside because he's key steps on the outside. This is the only time I'll tell him to go ahead and hard jar. Why? He's going to block him out. Nobody's blocked this guy yet. Nobody's blocked this guy yet, and he's going to scrape in there. Should be scraping free. If they want to double right here and rise up to him, then he should come loose, okay? So that's why we got to where this guy can – if the guard steps out and he's key stepped out, instead of trying to get back inside when this guy pulls around, we're going to leave him outside and tell him to R-jar and get big.
Okay.
Get big. I'm trying to blow it up with that forearm shoulder lift, and I'm going to try to show him my chest so he cuts back a different way. So you'll see he's coming in right there, and you'll see he takes the hard jar on. See that? See how he took that on? Now, luckily, this 4-eye right here is playing some good ball, 6'6" or something like that. And we're playing 4-eye on this side too because we were feeling inside zone. Okay, so when that guy pulled, guess what he did? He just got in that hip pocket. Again, we're reading 9 times out of 10, we're going to read those guards. It's just good play out of both 4-eyes right there. But you can see where he hard jars on that guy instead of spilling him. It just makes it a little easier to feed your brother linebacker over there on the other side. I think this is the only dart we had all year.
Well, I think we're looking at why right there.
Yeah. Yeah, the four eyes can go.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like playing four eyes. I like them. Hell, if you want to stop inside zone, you get in 44 and you
Oh,
stop inside zone.
that's a lot of guys like talking four eyes on this podcast. So I think a lot of D-line guys like playing it for that reason.
Yeah. The next question, well, what do you read? What do you read? Well, it depends. You know, this is honest truth. If I'm getting a lot of inside zone, I'm going to read this guy. I'm probably giving too much out in this damn talk. Let's see where we at. If we're getting a lot of inside zone, I'm going to read the guard. Okay.
Yeah.
If we're getting a lot of power, okay, especially weak side power, I'm going to post the tackle. Okay. Why? What does that matter, Coach? Well, when you post the tackle, when this guy pulls, he's got to pull longer. And guess what? He doesn't have power steering, right? What he wants to do is that slide step, skip step, and get upfield is what he wants to do. So when you post in a four-eye, post the tackle right here and makes this guy stay lateral longer, I tell the kids, you guys, you remember old Charlie Sheen when he was all crazy and he was like winning? Well,
Yeah.
that's what we tell the kids. I said, if that ball is going lateral, if it's going to the sidelines, guess what you are? You are winning. Period.
That's right.
Keep it going to the sideline.
Yep.
And that's why I like posting that guy and just make
Yeah.
that sucker run longer and longer and longer.
Yep.
But if we're playing an inside zone team where they want to double those four eyes, then I'll read that guard and we'll collapse those holes down. Yep. Okay. Pass drops. I know I'm running a little bit long, but you can set me up whenever you want to. Otherwise, I'm going to do this all night.
Oh, you're good.
Pass drops. Again, we talked about the draw steps. I use what we call jump the look, which means we're going to set up when the quarterback sets up. I'm going to check my ABCs, which is something that we came up with real easy. Of course, your A area is where your 3 or 2 is. That's basically your hook of your or your hot of your inside receiver, whether it be the tight end or whether it be your number 3 receiver. Then your B area is your swing of your back, your flare, and then your C area is your cross, your backside crosser. Communicate crossers. Anything that goes underneath us, in front of us, is a crosser. We don't chase that route. We just communicate it, and we're looking for the higher or the deeper drag. Anything that goes behind us is a drag, basically. You'll see that's dark fits. I don't know why those things are out of place. All right, so right here, what you're going to see is this backside linebacker right here. He's going to start looking for work. All right, boom. Basically what we tell him is this guy's relating to 3 and he's relating to 2. If I'm not mistaken, 2's in the backfield because it's trips. Yeah, his 2's in the backfield. So you'll see he'll look to number 2 right here and see if he comes up. If he is, he's going to relate to him, okay? And he's looking for 3. I believe 3 is right here. Might be right here. So 2's right there. He's relating to 3. If 3 comes up in his hook, he's going to get him. If he does out, then he's going to get the next guy coming in. We're just going to pattern match those guys and pass them off as we see fit. So here we go. We're checking our A area, which is where a hitch is or the guy we're supposed to relate to is. He took off that way, so this guy's dropping into this wide. All right. So again, he's going to relate to 2. 2's in the backfield. He's going to relate to 3. 3's in the backfield. So they're both in the backfield right now. Boom. They both go away. They don't have anybody to cover. Boom. He just relates to the next best thing. Now, this linebacker here on the play side, when this guy cut out, he should have used that pivot that we were talking about to stay up underneath this. But he ends up chasing. Don't ask me why, but he does. But this backside guy is the one I really like. He just passes off his next guy and goes to the next thing. Now, what we like to teach, if they're not relating there, then we're going to teach our ABCs. Again, our ABCs, this is our A area right here, which is, the hot, the cover down, the dump pass. Then our B area is right here on the swing, okay, for this play side linebacker. The swing area is right here. And then anything coming from back, crosser, would be the C area. So this is the A area. His eyes go there. Then he goes to the B area. Then he looks for something across him, coming back from the backside. See here. Huge play in the game. Kept the ball, but you can see the athletic ability of this linebacker. Again, this guy just got him lined up. That's it. Let's get him lined up. And then let him be the athlete he was. Again, going to Mary Hardin Baylor now. It's pretty good. Pretty good scoop there. I talked about that. Let's see. We got a little bit more. Here we go. All right, so here you're going to be able to see him check there. Let me go a little wide. Check their ABCs here. All right, so does a great job right here. Okay, his number 2 goes radical. He just yells cross, cross to us and lets him go. Okay, and because he communicated, all right, he yells cross, cross, cross. That notified the linebacker that somebody's coming, but watch him free before he even hears cross, cross, cross. His eyes are going to go to the A area, going up the field. Then they go to the B area. There's nothing there, and then he looks for the crosser. Boom. So as he's working through there, then he hears him communicating cross, cross, cross. It just affirmed that he's on him.
If he didn't hear cross, would he have walled off?
Yeah, he would see it late, basically. He would see it late. No.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, hey, first game we had the first 3 games we had 3 picks in the linebacking core, and I think 2 of them went for touchdowns. And this kid doesn't want to play football. He wants to just go to A&M and become a what you call it? Let's see if I got anything behind it. Yeah, he wants to be a force. Yeah, he loves the wildlife. He's always going fly fishing. Coach, you need to come fly fishing. I don't know if they let Mexicans go fly fishing, buddy. Same thing again. Same thing. You can just see him. He's going to relate to 3, and then he's going to check his ABCs. The only thing that they're not doing a great job right here is when the quarterback sets up, I like for them to set up, but he really doesn't do that. Neither one of them do. Again, this is game 3, I think. And, again, there's some feel for the game there, though. Boom. He's just finding work. You know, he's in charge of – it's a 2-by-2 set. He's in charge of 3. 3's in the backfield, so he just starts moving his head. Boom, 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 and he finds it. That's the biggest thing in the pass is to be able to get their eyes off the cue and find you see it here really well. Find receivers. We actually lined up wrong. We're on the wrong side. He put the strong side to the boundary. That wasn't good. But it still plays the same. But both these linebackers, they learn the same thing, so you can play them on either side. The only thing they need to learn is both stunts. So if they do get kind of cattywampus like they did here, they were still able to play. Luckily, we didn't get penalty on the spike of the ball. Man, I got fire zones to go. You want to hear fire zones, or you want to call it a day? You tell me. It's,
Coach, let's roll. Let's get through this stuff, and
okay,
we
got it.
We'll cut it off after we get through all the film cut ups and everything.
Okay, good. Okay, so falcon and fish go to the field. Buzzard and bite go to the boundary. 9 times out of 10, we are going to line up to the number of receivers. Okay, but 9 times out of 10, they put the number of receivers to the wide side of the field. So. A falcon we use versus pass. A fish we use versus run. Same thing. Buzzard is versus pass. Bite is versus run. And I'll show you the difference in film real quick. These are basically, you guys all know NCAA blitz. That's all it is. NCAA, we're going to push the front away from the stunt, and then we're going to roll the stunt. We're going to bring the stunt off one edge, and we're going to roll the secondary into cover 3. The safety rolling down to the stunt. This is a falcon right now. Safety rolling down is in charge of rerouting number 2. All right. He's in charge of contain. We're going to long stick it here, cross face, get up the field, and we're going to basically we want this on that quarterback. We want to get him corralled, and we're going to push up the field right here. We're using this stunt because this guy is not very good. That's why we're using this stunt. We're going to put him in jeopardy. That's what he does. Okay. These stunts are kind of, again, this particular, the Falcon Buzzard series is built to beat this guy right here. So when you watch a film and you see that guy's not very good, this is what you put in. Easy as it gets. Cover 3, Fire zone. It's all we run is cover 3 fire zones because we don't have to do a lot of teaching. We teach same as. Once we put cover 3 in, we should be able to run this all day long. All right. We're coming from the bottom of the film here. There it comes. Again, watch the tackle right here. He ain't sure who he's supposed to get. C63. We put some stress on him, and he didn't handle it very well. Now, our nose guard went the wrong way. Didn't help. But you can see what we're trying to get here. We're getting contained right here. We're getting the stress on the tackle. The nose guard should have went this way, and we're going to get some press from back here. Okay? That quarterback's going to play tight end in college. He played quarterback his whole senior year, and then he's going to play tight end in college.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that Churchill?
That is Churchill. Okay. Yep. They gave us a run for our money, too. We went in a little big-headed, and we just didn't play very well. I think it's the same one, yeah. Does a good job of getting him pulled up. Now, this safety, if I'm not mistaken right here, yeah. See, we want him down here by 5, redirecting this guy. He's a little too high because I think we had some new safeties in there that we had some injury. He doesn't really get to them, but he does cover them well. And he takes he takes both outs away. This is actually a pretty good call to this defense right here. And with the safety, that drop-down safety just does a good job. And then look at the backside linebacker. Look at him cover some ground. He gets over here on this out because he's looking for his number 2. His 2 went to block, so. But you can see what the quarterback's got to look at here, and you got to see what this tackle. The tackle don't know what the hell he's supposed to do right here. Yep. It just speeds everything up. All right. I think the same thing. Same one, I believe. Okay. Got it. Okay, so this is almost the same thing. So now we've called Falcon, but they gave us trips, okay? If you remember, the Mike was the one that was inserting in this big gap, but they gave us trips. So now if we run that stunt with that Mike linebacker going through that big gap, they're going to hit the hot down right here all day long because he's coming down over number 2, not over number 3, okay? Yeah, you want to switch him. Coach, why don't you just take him down okay, do that. Now he's going to hit number 3. So what we do is we just call a backer go. That's this position right here. He's going to run the stunt, and he's going to go ahead and cover down. He's going to steal wall number 2, or reroute number 2. Okay, and same stunt. I don't even know if I have film on this one because it hardly ever happened. This might be the one. No. Yeah, so it hardly ever happened. But here's where just a good picture of the rover coming from distance. Anytime these guys are stunting, I give them 3 areas to go from. They're in charge of changing it on their own. I'll tell them come from halfway. I'll tell them come from where they're at, or I'll tell them to time it. Okay, and that's the way we teach them. 3 different ways to stunt, and then they use what they're good at, and then some of them I'll tell them what to do. But right here, this guy he cut his alignment to half, and then he just took off on it, and this guy never saw him. Makes for a big play for us, and we get the ball out, and we score. This guy's going to play at Eastern New Mexico. This guy's going to play at McMurray. The safety's going to play at McMurray. He was a premier B-team safety his entire career until his senior year. He played JV as a junior. Started all of our games for us. Just another way for that blitz to work. Let's see. Well, not a good tackle here, but you can see him working here. He should be going across space. He's getting to the long stick. Boom. They occupied everybody in the middle right there. And then the nose guard just keeps working and finds a way to get to the ball. Boom. That's a good look at it right there, the way it opens up for that Mike linebacker. hustling out to get the and this is on a 3-blocker side. We don't change it on a 3-blocker side if that tight end's there, because I'm probably called the Falcon because it's a passing down, right? So he's probably going to leave somehow, some way. So then it just turns just like if he wasn't there. And it also gives you some spacing. This guy, when they're down in stances like that, he can't see where that guy is.
Yeah,
So that helps. Yeah. See, he could barely see him there. It just helps hide him a little bit. Same one. Oh, yeah. Don't ask me why those are all out of whack. This is Reagan right here. They're pretty salty. His quarterback's pretty salty, but everything speeds up here on him. We run it. Good thing we got a safety that comes down and plays where he's supposed to play. But you see how fast he has to get the ball out of his hand. He can't do it. Now, remember, this is a B team safety right here. Watch him come down over number 2 right here. The B team, this guy, he didn't sniff the field until his senior year. But this guy sped it up, and he came from alignment, which is even better. But look how fast he's got to get the ball out of his hand. And then this one plays, boom, comes down over to number 2, redirects number 2, and makes the play. About as good as it gets right there.
Yeah.
And, yes, I do allow my linebackers to come out of the blitz. You know, he starts. He sees that, you know, the tackle pretty much came back down on him, right? So he's like, well, you know, I'm going to get stuck in there anyway. But he just follows the ball. See if you can see how fast this goes for him right here, though. He ends up hurrying the throw, and it makes it an errant throw, which makes it harder for everybody now. I believe, yep. This is the twos. These stunts are taught from middle school all the way up because it's a cover 3 stunt, so we could do that. So this is our twos in. And boom, he just scrapes nice and tight. Boom, he's tracked him all the way. Good catch out of that guy, but you can see how fast he gets in there just by scraping tight. And the long stick really gets these guys, it really gets them coming down. When they see a guy caught, that dang guard gets on them. Sometimes the tackle will chase him down in there. It just looks odd to him, and it kind of, just like, what the hell's going on here? Why is he crossing my face and going way down there? I better block him. Yeah.
Well, because those guys are literal too, just like the guys we got.
Yep. I think you see it here. You see how tight he scrapes right through here. Come on. Yep. Whew. It's a pretty good throw and a catch out of those two. That's Lee right there. All right, so NCAA blitz coming from the weak side, the boundary side now. Same thing. We're going to take that forearm. He's going to rip across. We're going to go away. We're going to build that keep them in there corralled. We tell these guys, you guys are coming right over here like this. We're going to feed the blitz because here's the blitz right here. We're going to feed the blitz. I don't even know if we got film on this, to tell you the truth. Yeah, okay. All right. So we're feeding the blitz. This side over here is coming. Maybe it wasn't. Hold on. Okay. We're lined up wrong right here. This guy should be coming. He's going to go that A gap. He's going to push across, and he should come here. Let's see what happens. Well, they ran it backwards. I think they got lined up wrong, and they switched sides on us. These guys were smart enough to do that. So he came down underneath. He comes, and he's supposed to be running, but he comes out of it because of the play. Let's see here. There you go. Okay. Difference between the bites and the buzzards and the falcons and the fishes. The falcons and the buzzards are used for pass because we're going to get this guy up to contain. The fishes and the bites, we're going to take this guy and run him down the heel line. Okay? And it's all predicated off what he does. If he blocks down, he's going to run the heel line off his butt. If he blocks out, he's going to cross face and get in the B gap because now instead of this guy going B gap on the bites and the fishes, he's going to come outside, and he's the contain now. I believe that's what happens here. And then again, yep. See how he comes outside, and we were able to get to him from the backside here. So what I like to, you can see right here, he's trying to fight inside to the B gap on this guy because he stepped out, and that gives this guy the room to come around. We had to add this. Gilbert Rodriguez Jr., who is he's a DB coach at Clemens. He was my DC for a long time, and he built this whole package for us. And we needed something because the Falcons and the Buzzards, they were awesome versus the pass, and they weren't worth the dilly squat versus the run. So we ended up finding this at Texas, I believe. Orlando was running these, just changing it up with that outside linebacker coming underneath that pass block, and it really helped against the run. So we started using them against the run, and then when you have fast linebackers like this, it'll work against the pass too, but it'll close up all those gaps on the inside. Yeah. Okay, in and out. All right. This, you're sitting there watching the NFL ball, and they always cross. They twist that center. We were playing a team where the center he's a little bit banged up. We noticed that, so we wanted to put some stress on the center, so we came to this Indian out. Anytime we get in our Indian front, it's 2s and 5s, 2 linebackers and outside linebacker on the strong side. Normally we play cover 3 behind it. If we're going to send these blitzes, though, we had to play cover 0 and blitz peel with the 5 techniques. One of the 5 techniques is probably our outside linebacker, is that little 22 that we had him down in a stance. We do put some personnel changes in there every now and then, but that's the big thing. If you're gonna do this, you're gonna have to blitz peel to get that guy covered up because you're about to send both linebackers in there, and we could do it with both linebackers or one linebacker depending on how we called it, whether it was Indian out, Indian plug, whatnot. Base Indian though is 2 eyes and 5s, and when we call out, the 2 eyes are going to 3s on the snap, and they're going to open up those 8 gaps. So that's the premise of the defense. Real quick, and here it is. We're playing. This is a flex bone team. They were killing us. I mean, this game was ridiculous. I think we won 56-51, something like that. It was real hard to stop this offensive line. They were quick and tough. It's Wagner High School right here. And we got in this, I believe, in the 4th quarter and finally put some stops to some stuff. But you can see here, we're in 2 eyes right here, and he's basically going to take that B gap. He's going to take that C gap. He's going to come out B. He's going to be in C. And then we'll take these 2 linebackers. We're going to cross them right here on this nose guard. And got them into some passing situations where we could do it. Then they were down blocking so much on us that we had to do something to stay in our B and our C gaps. Got us a big pick coming out at half. That was huge. Again, playing, this is 0 coverage right here. Should be 0 coverage. They didn't get the call. I think they're trying to roll into some cover 3 right here. So we actually lucked into this play, but it helped because that quarterback sees both these guys breathing down his neck, that he's going to get the ball out quick, and he gets it out too quick right here in this. Good look at it right there. See, that's what that quarterback gets to look at, and that ain't what he wants to see. Yeah, it looks like that safety didn't get the call. Or did, though. Oh, running again. Oh, same play. That's wide of it. There it is right there. A little bit better look at it. Again, we're taking the 2 eyes, and they're going to go outside. They're going to go outside. And then whichever one you want to go first, have them go first. Whether it was the backside, the short side guy coming, however you want to do it, really doesn't matter. Yeah. The other thing, like here, we're sending 1, turns into 6-1, and now the linebacker's covered up nice, and he's able to run. Here he gets picked off a little bit. There should have been a crack replacement right there. But as far as tackle to tackle, he's free to roam right here. And again, we're just, we're getting down the line pretty well right here. But, some benefits to just sending one of them instead of both of them, Again, you play some cover 3 out of this and void some zones, or you can play man-to-man, and we just chose to play man-to-man. Sending them all. The 0 cut. Plus, down here, it's really not beneficial to be in a zone.
Right, exactly.
Unless you're in a red 5, we got a red 5 defense that we didn't get to play too much, but it's a kind of a 5 across zone on the bottom. You ever get into DB play, you need to call Gilbert Rodriguez Jr. or our DB coach, TP Miller.
Okay.
They're worth their weight in gold, a good DB coach. Let's see here. Sending one right here. We're not sending both. But here you can see how cleaned up he is. So you got every gap taken right here. You got the A gap taken. He's got the B gap. So he's clean. And watch this guy just scrape through all this stuff. That's what I like seeing. Again, it goes all the way back to the first drill, tracking. Boom, boom, boom. Accelerate to the play. Just like that. Let's see. Let me get to this. Oh, this is they score this, they win the ball game. And we got into this Indian out, and boom, we were able to get our hand on the ball right here. Next play, I think. Yeah, right here. Second play, ran the same defense again. I think we only sent one linebacker on this one. End up getting the ball out.
Wow.
Next play, I believe it is right here. Yep. Boom. Ball out. And it goes back to C36.
Yep.
See how clean he's covered up the whole way. It's tracking all the way. Boom, 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 boom. So huge deal. We maybe 2 times a game if we saw that everything was good. I think we ran it about 6 times in that game. This guy, anytime the center got up limping, we sent it. And
yeah.
I mean, this is the original reason we put it in was because the center, we knew he was banged up a little bit. And the quarterback could go. And we were containing him with outside linebackers. So it was a good change up for us. One of those deals. And kids like this stuff, man. You get in there in the film room and you see there's something you can take advantage of. The kids are all over it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, it's you don't need a lot of bells and whistles going into the game. I was listening to Dick Wilbeau one time. Same thing here. And I asked him, Coach, how much defense do you put in a game? He goes, as much as I need to win the game. Okay,
Yeah.
You got it, bro. You're right. Same thing here, just the Indian out with the one linebacker going right here. Boom, and he just seeks and finds and makes plays. But yeah, that's what it looks like from the backside of it. Again, going all the way back to day 1 tracking. That's it. That's what I got for X's and O's. So appreciate the time. I know it went a little bit longer, but I'm always down anytime you ever want to talk.
Oh, Coach, no, that was great. I mean, I think that you could have entered into this not knowing much about linebacker play and be ready to walk out and coach it tomorrow if you had to. So I appreciate it, Coach, and really bringing it and not being bashful about sharing what you do. And as we mentioned at the top of this, these guys will have your contact info, and of course they can again scan that QR code to get this presentation. But we'll definitely make it where they can get a hold of you if they have questions.
That'd be great, man. I love hearing from coaches all around the state.
Yeah.
And I'll share everything I got. I don't hide anything. Here's the bottom line: the offense don't know when I'm calling it.
That's right. That's exactly right. Well, Coach, thank you so much. I appreciate it, and good luck to you and the Jaguars in 2021.
Coach, I appreciate you. I love your what you're doing here, because coaches need this. We all need to get better somehow, some way. Never stop learning.